Praise the Lord. Today we are going to see about Genesis chapter 22. Especially, there is going to be a conflict. Let us see how Abraham resolved this conflict with the help of everlasting God El-Roi. So let me share my screen so you can understand further. So today's topic is about a conflict over a well, that is in Beer-Sheba, Genesis chapter 21, 22 to 24. Please open the Bible with you and let me move on. So as you know that the book of Genesis has 50 chapters. There already we finished about the creation, the fall of man, the flood, the nation, and then we started the God's dealing with the nation of Israel, especially in the life of Abraham. Now we are in the life of Abraham, especially in Genesis chapter 21. Let me go there. In the life of Abraham, what and all happened? He made a journey from Ur. Then there was a falling and success after he went to Egypt. There was a falling, and then he came back again to Canaan. There he was succeeded, and then he met the priest called Melchizedek, and then God made a covenant with Abraham. And then there's going to be birth of Ishmael, and then God promised there's going to be promise of Isaac and birth of Isaac, and at last, at the age of Abraham, when Abraham was 100 years old, Sarah gave birth a son, and God fulfilled the promise. After this, what is going to happen? That we are going to see today. So for the today's topic, the main key verse is Genesis chapter 21, 31, and 34. So that place was called Beer-Sheba because the two men swear an oath there. There are two men are there. They are going to swear a oath. Why they are swearing a oath? Because there was a conflict about the well which was dig over there. Okay, so but the two men made swear because there was a conflict. Abraham then planted a tamarisk tree in the Beer-Sheba. There he worshipped the Lord, the everlasting God, El-Roi. So this is what we are going to learn today. There was a conflict. Then the conflict was resolved. After the conflict, to resolve the conflict, the two person made a oath. The one of the person was Abraham. The another person was a king, the Philistine king, and both of them made a oath regarding the well where the Abraham dig it, and that well name was Beer-Sheba. And then Abraham is going to live in that place for a long time. There he made an altar and worship the Lord. The name of the Lord is everlasting God, El-Roi. So everlasting means El means God, Roi means everlasting. So let us see today what is the conflict, how it was resolved. The summary of this story, what and all we learned is that actually in Genesis chapter 1 to 1, 21, 1 to 21, we already learned that Isaac was born to Abraham and Sarah, and the rival Ismail and Hagar were expelled. That was finished in Genesis chapter 21, verse 21 to 22. So so after this incident, let me take after the 4 years after the incident of birth of Isaac and the expelling Ismail and Hagar to the wilderness. After 4 years, this incident happened. There's going to be a conflict about the well, which was dug by Abraham. So to resolve that conflict, what is going to happen is that there was going to be Abraham is going to made a covenant with the king of Philistine. His name is Abimelech. And he's going to settle in the land for a long time. And at last, Abraham faith is going to be tested. And when God is going to tell Abraham to sacrifice Isaac, that we are going to see the next class. But today we are going to see that in Genesis chapter 21, 22 to 34, a covenant was made with Abimelech. Who was Abimelech? Abimelech was the Philistine king, allowing Abraham to settle in the land in peace, because he has to settle in that land with the peace and prosperity. For that, there should not be any conflict, because already there was a conflict is going on. That conflict is going to be resolved by making a peace covenant, covenant of peace. That's what we are going to see today. There was a great conflict. To overcome the conflict, and the two persons are going to make a oath and also a covenant of peace. One of the person name is Abraham. The next person name is the king of Philistine, Abimelech. Abimelech is not the name of the king, but as we call the king of Egypt as a pharaoh. In the same way, the king of Philistines descendants are called as Abimelech. The name is not given, only the Abimelech is given. Abimelech means the king of Philistines. So let us see today what the conflict is there. First of all, Isaac was born and the rival was expelled. That we learned in Isaiah, Genesis chapter 21, 1 to 21. When the Lord fulfilled his promise by providing Isaac, the child of promise, Abraham and Sarah responded with obedience and praise. Then Ishmael became a threat to the promised son Isaac. So Ishmael and Hagar were sent out into the wilderness where God provided for Ishmael and his mother Hagar. Then after this incident, after 4 years after the incident, there was a great conflict. To resolve that conflict, Abraham is going to make a covenant with the Philistine king at Beer-Sheba. Abraham is making a covenant of peace with the Philistine king Abimelech. The story gives the explanation of the name Beer-Sheba, where Abraham is going to stay for a long time. So in this incident, we are going to see the conflict, and then to resolve the conflict, there is going to be a covenant of peace. And after the covenant of peace, he is going to name that place as Beer-Sheba, and where God is going to allow him to stay for a long time. They didn't say how many years, a long time Abraham is going to stay there. Maybe by this time, the age of Isaac is maybe 4 years or 3 years old. When Isaac was going to be sacrificed, but that's what God tested Abraham. At that time, the age of Isaac was 16 years. So maybe for about 13 years, Abraham lived in the same place without wandering, and that place, the name is Beer-Sheba, and there he made a covenant. So there he stayed peacefully for a long time. Well, so today we are going to see what is the conflict over the well. The summary is, when Abraham prospers under the blessing of God, he urged to make a treaty with Abimelech at Beer-Sheba for peaceful coexistence, thereby enabling him to serve God in the land of promise. This is a summary. It is very easy. What is happening? God has blessed Abraham. So God, seeing that blessing, the people were astonished. So this make the king, the Philistine king, to come and make an agreement with Abimelech at Beer-Sheba, and there is going to be a peaceful treaty is going to happen, which enabling him to stay there for a long time, for about 13 to 14 years, and serve God in the land. So that is the summary of the story. As you know, this is Gerar. This is Gerar, and Abimelech is king of Gerar. Now Abraham is also staying nearby this area, near this area, and there he dig a well. For that well only, there's going to be a great conflict. Let us see that Abraham agreed to make a treaty. Let us read that in Genesis chapter 21, 22 to 24. First part of our studies, first of all, Abraham agreed to make a treaty. Why he agreed to make a treaty? What is the problem over there? That is given in Genesis chapter 21, 22 to 24. So Abraham, who prospered under the blessing of God, agreed to make a treaty with Abimelech. As you know, as I tell you, Abimelech is the king of Philistine. He is staying in the Gerar. Gerar is a land of Philistine. So this in the Gerar itself, that part is ruled by a king called the Philistine king called Abimelech. He's agreed to make Abraham is going to agree make a treaty with Abimelech. What was the request? Abimelech recognized that God was with Abraham, and so he asked for the treaty. Can you see here why he is coming and asking the treaty? Because Abimelech, the great king, came to know a sojourner. Abraham don't have any land for his own also. He's moving from one place to other by living in the tent. In this condition, this king recognized that God was with Abraham, and so he asked for the treaty. And what was the response of the Abraham? Abraham agreed to make a treaty. That is there. So let me read. Abraham agreed to make treaty. Genesis chapter 21, 22 to 24. Let me read this Bible verse. Genesis 21, 22 to 24. At that time, Abimelech, with them, Phicol, the commander of his army, said to Abraham, God is with you in everything you do. See, what is the testimony they are giving? Two persons are coming and meeting Abraham at Gerar. One person is Abimelech. Abimelech means what? The king of Philistia. He also bring along with him the Phicol. Phicol is the commander of his army. This is also not the personal name. This is also a common name given to the commander of the army. So the Abimelech is also common name. Phicol is also common name. That's not a personal name. Abimelech means the king of Philistia. Phicol means commander of the army. These two persons came to Abraham where he was living in Gerar, and they are telling one testimony about Abraham. What is the testimony? God is with you in everything you do. Such a testimony God asks from us also. Whatever we do, God is going to help us. In such a way, we are going to have a good relationship with God. Now, swear to me here by God that you will not break an agreement with me or with my children and my descendant. Now he is telling you are increasingly prosperously, and you have become abundantly increasing and become very prosperous. So I want to make a treaty. The treaty is nothing that don't break the treaty. Don't make any harmful thing to me, to my children, or to my descendant. Okay, that's the agreement. As I have kept faith with you, so you keep faith with me, and with the country and with the counter where you are residing alien. And the king is telling that I am the owner of the land. You are just a foreigner. You are an alien, but you are a wanderer. But still, you should make a covenant with me that you should not harm me, my children, or descendant. And Abraham said, I swear. That means he is going to make a oath. Yes, I swear. Oath means making a promise. Yes, I make a promise. I never do any harm to you, to your children or descendant. That's what Abraham is going to swear. Let me see that. So what we have to do from this, we learn we the believers also agree to make a request for a peaceful relationship. If somebody is coming and asking you, make a friendship with me, I want to be a friend with you, I want to talk with you, please help me, I want to make an agreement with you. If somebody is coming and asking you, immediately you have to do that. If they are the children of God, if they are the good children, if they are obeying the God's word, if their behavior is well to do, and in that condition, you should make a peaceful relationship with that person. That's what we learn from this. And next one is that God is with you in everything you do. That here the king is himself is telling God is with you in everything you do. Not only to Abraham, the same thing is going to happen in the life of Isaac. You know who is Isaac? Isaac is a only son of Abraham. In his life also, the same king is going to come again and is going to tell Isaac, I know that God is with you, so you also make an agreement with me. The same Philistine king made agreement with Abraham. After the Abraham's death, when Isaac was prosperous in this land, that land in Beer-Sheba, again the same Philistine king came and make a covenant with Isaac and telling that you have to swear me because God is with you. And then in the life of Jacob also, we can see the same statement. You all know that Jacob was once the second son of Isaac. He went and lived in his uncle's Haran, in his uncle's place for more than 20 years. At that time, the Laban, his uncle, is telling that I came to know through the divination that God is with you. That's why God is favoring me. His uncle Laban was not a man of God. He is using divination also. He's asking the unknown spirit and asking how this Jacob is very prosperous. Through that unknown spirit also telling to Laban that God is with Jacob. That's why because of that you are also getting the favor. So that is a testimony given by the Jacob's uncle Laban. And not only that, you all know the 11th son of Jacob is Joseph. He was sold to as a slave in the Egypt. There he was a slave, and the master also came to know that Lord is with Joseph and giving all success in everything he is doing. So can you see here in the life of Abraham, in the life of Isaac, in the life of Jacob, in the life of Joseph, we can see that in spite of all their problems they are facing, because in the life of Abraham and Isaac, they are facing the problem from the servant of the king of Philistia. There is going to be conflict. The conflict regarding the well, because in those days, if you dig the well is very important. From that well, you can get the water for drinking, and you can cultivate the land, and you can become a prosperous, and you can take care of your animal like goat and sheep and camel, everything. They need all water. If you dig the well, then you become a great millionaire. That is the greatest thing in those world, in those days. So that when any person dig the well. Again, there is a conflict. The Philistine king's servant came and fight with Abraham. We want that well. This is not your well. This is for conflict going on. This same thing happened in the Isaac also. In all these areas, one thing is very clear. God is revealing to the great king, the Philistine king, that don't make any mess with my children because I am with them. I am only blessing them. So they are very afraid of Abraham and Isaac. They are coming and running towards them and making a covenant and making a oath. Hereafter, there is not going to be any conflict. Nothing will happen. Don't worry. You also don't harm me, and we are also not going to harm you. That is the oath. That is the covenant they are making. So the same thing will happen for us also, because we are the children of God. And not only that, after that, what happened? Abraham, when the king came and asked agreement, a covenant of peace, you please make a covenant with me. At that time, what Abraham is doing, no, instead of taking the covenant immediately, he is accusing Abimelech for what? For stealing his well. Now, Abimelech, the king of Philistia, is asking for a covenant. In spite of that, Abraham is accusing the Abimelech for what? For stealing his wealth. That is the problem. I told you, no, always there is a conflict, always there is a problem when a well was dug. And what is happened? What is the complaint Abraham is giving to Abimelech? Abraham charged that Abimelech's servant took his well. He said, your servant, once I dig the well, your servant came and took it. What was the response of the Abimelech? Abimelech protested that he know nothing about it. Then the king is telling, he said, so I don't know anything about it. You didn't come and tell me. Nobody told me. I don't know anything about it. And then what resolution? They made a covenant. That's okay. What happened is happened. They took my well. Now another well I have dug here. And you have to make a covenant because this well belonged to me. That's what Abraham is going to tell. Then they made a covenant. Let me read Genesis chapter 22, 25 to 27. But Abraham complained to Abimelech because of the water well that Abimelech's servant has seized. 1 minute, children. Then Abraham is complained to Abimelech because of the well that Abimelech's servant has seized. Once I dug the well, your servant came and seized it. Abimelech replied, I don't know who did this. Abimelech give three response to this. First response, I don't know who did this thing. Second, you didn't report anything to me. Why can't you come and report to me? You didn't also report. Third, I didn't even hear about it until today. Nobody also came and told me. So these are the three responses this king is telling him. So then Abimelech took, okay, what happened is happened. Now immediately Abraham took sheep and goat. He took sheep and goat and gave them to Abimelech. He's giving a gift to Abimelech. Okay, and two of them made a covenant of peace. Now what is happening here is, what happened is happened. Okay, now what is that is, here is a well. Okay, this well is mine. For that, I am making covenant with you. For that covenant, Abraham is giving a gift to the king, because king is a great man. He is a ruler of this land. Only Abraham is staying as a sojourner, as a foreigner, as an alien. He has no hold in this land. He didn't buy any land. He's roaming around the land. God only promised that for your generation, I'm going to give the land. But still now he is roaming around it. That's why Abraham is giving a gift of two of sheep and cattle and make a peace covenant with Abimelech. So hereafter, you are not going to harm me and I'm not going to harm you. Okay, so this is agreement. Okay, that made a covenant. So what is the difference? Now they made a covenant. The covenant with the covenant, to ratify the covenant, Abraham gave sheep and cattle. It's finished. Okay, now what we learn from this is, we even in our life also, if there is going to be a conflict in our life, somebody is coming and fighting with us. There is a great conflict is happening. Some children is coming and fighting with you, or they are doing something bad against you, or if a case of the they took something, they did something bad against you and gossip about you, or something is happening. They are doing something against you, because that you became very sad and you lost something also because of that, and you are in great agony because of that incident. If that is happening, if that particular person who made a conflict with you is coming and asking, yes, what happened is wrong. Now I want to make a peace treaty with you. Hereafter, there's not going to be any conflict between you and me. If they are coming in and asking that, immediately you have to accept it. You have to forgive them, forget it, and you have to accept them that peace treaty and forget that dispute. First of all, Abraham rebuked. Then he made a more foreign legal. First of all, he told it. He told the king, "What's the problem?" So you also tell that person, "You did like this. This was so hurtful to me. That's why I'm angry with you. Hereafter, don't do it." And then make a formal legal complaint. And then they made a covenant of peace. And then they told this dispute would not be repeated by both parties. Even you should not come and take my well, and I should not come and take your well. So this is a treaty, and this is over now. Now next is next what is happening. That's why Second Corinthians 13:11 says, finally, brothers, rejoice, be restored, be encouraged, be of same mind, be at peace, and the God of love and peace will be with you. That's what we have to do according to Second Corinthians 13:11. Sorry, children, I am not feeling well. That's why. So Paul says in Second Corinthians chapter 13, verse 11, finally, brothers, rejoice. Always rejoice. Be restored. If there is any conflict, be restored. Be encouraged. Encourage one another. Be of the same mind. Be at peace. Then the God of love and peace will be with you. If you they're giving the testimony. What is the testimony about Abraham? God is with you. God is with you. So if you want God is be with you and help you and protect you and bless in all the things you are doing, what you have to do, you always, if there is any conflict, be restored and be encouraged, be of the same mind, be of this, be at the same peace. Then the God of love and peace be with you and me. So that is a condition for God to be with us. Then next thing what is happening is another thing Abraham is doing now. What he is doing is that Abraham solidifies his right to the well by making an oath for the covenant. Now they made a covenant. What is a covenant? Covenant is the agreement between the two parties. The two parties agree. Yes, one party, another party. First party is the king of Philistia, Abimelech. Next party is Abraham, as a sojourner, an alien, but God is with him. He was very prosperous. The two people make a covenant. Hereafter, my servant will never come and take your well. You also should not harm me, my children, or descendant. So this is a covenant. Yes, for that covenant, Abraham gave sheep and cattle. It's over. Not only that, another thing Abraham is doing, he is taking the oath, the promise. What is the promise? What you want to take is that there another come with the promise. Preparation. Abraham set 7 animals apart for the rest. Instead of giving all the cattle and the sheep, Abraham separated 7 animals separately. Then Abimelech saw that and said, why you are not giving that animal also? Why you are keeping it separate? What's the problem? Abimelech inquired about the significance of animal. Why you are keeping it alone, those 7 animals? Then Abraham explained that they were for a testimony that he had the right to his well. Now he's telling, see, this is a well. This well is going to be mine. The testimony, the oath is, I'm giving this animal to you, especially now for this well. Before what happened? The covenant is between you and me. That is what? Hereafter your servant never come and take my well, and I am also not going to affect you. You are your children or descendant. That's okay. Now this is the well I am having. With this well also I am going to make a testimony. The testimony is that I am giving this 7 animal to you. In return, you should accept it and recognize that this well is mine. I am the owner of the well. I will take the water from this well. Nobody should, especially your servant, should not come and ask about it. For that, I am making a testimony. I am making a oath. Now that's why I am separated these 7 animals, and now I am giving to you. Take this. So this is what the right of it. Well, now that's what Abraham is doing now. See how careful he is, because These are the king. They can do anything, isn't it, to make that make it sure that that well belong to him. He's doing this. But Abraham, Genesis chapter 21, 28 to 30. But Abraham had set apart 7 Eve lamb. Eve lamb means girl lambs. Okay, boy lambs, girl lamb. So this is a Eve lambs from the flock. Only Eve lamb. What the Eve lamb will multiply, isn't it? So why he's giving the Eve lambs? So then only when this lamb multiply, the king should remember that I should not go and touch that well. That well belonged only to Abraham. So, and Abimelech said to Abraham, why have you set apart these 7 Eve lambs? He replied, you have to accept the 7 Eve lambs from my hand, so that this act will serve as my witness that I dug this well. He said, I only dug this well, not your servant. I myself dug this well. That is a witness. So this act will serve as my witness that I dug this well. So this is what is Abraham is doing. What is the significance of the 7 Eve lamb? What is significance? Why is giving that? Because this is a present, first of all, Abraham's right. What was Abraham's right? The gift of 7 Eve lambs was a sign to Abimelech that the well, which is located in Beer-Sheba, where they were making the covenant at the present time, was the well that Abraham dug and no one else. Therefore, it was Abraham's right of labor. This is my right of labor. I only dig it. I am going to use it. So, what is the next one? Acceptance of this right. Abimelech's acceptance of this lamp show that he recognized Abraham's claim. So, Abraham, okay, I give me that 7 Eve lamps. I will take it. So, by taking it, this king is also recognizing the rights of the Abraham, and then they make a covenant of justice. First, they make a covenant of peace. What is it? So, by giving this 7 Eve lamp, Abraham is making a covenant of justice. Justice is what? This this well belonged to me, and I only dug it. And so, you make a covenant of justice. Nobody should come and ask that the well for them. Not only there is a covenant of peace, but with 7 Eve lamp, there is a covenant of justice. So there are two covenants they make. First is the covenant of peace, and then the covenant of justice. To make covenant of peace, Abraham gave cattle and sheep. To make covenant of justice, Abraham gave 7 Eve lamps. Now, next is that, okay. So let me go to the next point. So, so what we have to do, what we learn from this lesson, what we learn from this lesson is that always we have to strive to have the peace relationship continuously. You should not have a peace relationship with one person for a few days and then have a conflict with them. You should continue your peace relationship with your friends, with your relatives, even with some people who is coming and asking the help. So, by taking the vote at the presentation of the covenant, Abraham secured his legal right to the well and his permission to dwell in the land in peace. Not only that legal right to of the well, and also getting permission from the king. I am going to live in this land peacefully. That's what another thing. This well belong to me. Next thing, I want to dwell in this land peacefully, so nobody should come and do any harm to me. I want to live in this land peacefully. With this present, the 7 element to make the oath, Abraham convinced Abimelech that he had dug the well. Abraham had secured his right to the well. The king of Gerar seemed to have gained a pact with this man, and God only to ensure the future stability between them. So now, what we learn from this is nothing but we have to, once we made a peace treaty with other, we have to continue that relationship. Then only you can have the peace in that place, wherever you are studying, wherever you are going to work, whatever the place. If you continue that peace relationship, then only you have the peace of mind and do the God's will. And then what happened? Abraham named the place Beer-Sheba and planted a tree. After this over, he's going to name that place as a Beer-Sheba and he's going to plant a tree. He named the place Beer-Sheba because they swear in agreement. Since they swear in the agreement, he called that place Beer-Sheba, and a peaceful coexistent Abimelech and his people returned to their home after the covenant was made. They returned to their home. Abraham stayed here. There is no connection hereafter. They are going to separate it, but peace treaty is there. Nobody will come and harm Abraham. Abraham is going to live peacefully coexistent, established. Now, after that, what Abraham did? Abraham planted a tree and proclaimed the name of the Lord, the everlasting God. Now, he planted a tree and then he going to worship the name of the Lord. He called the name of the Lord as the everlasting God, eternal God, El-Roi. See, everlasting God means God has made this king has made a treaty with me. Because of you, my God, because you are with me, you are the eternal God, you are the everlasting God. Because of that, I am going to stay in this place for a few days. That's what Abraham is naming the God as the everlasting God. So let me go to that. Abraham named the place Beer-Sheba and planted a tree. And therefore, Genesis chapter 21, 31 to 34, I will read. Therefore, that place was called Beer-Sheba because it was there the two of them swore an oath. After that, they made a covenant at Beer-Sheba. Abimelech and the Phicol, the commander of his army, left and returned to the land of the Philistine. Abraham planted a tamarisk tree in Beer-Sheba, and there he worshipped the Lord, the everlasting God. And Abraham lived as a foreigner in the land of Philistine for many days. He is living as a foreigner. He is an alien, but God is with him, and nobody is coming and making any harm against him. Now he is going to live there happily. The name of the place is Beer-Sheba, and the name of the God who called, Abraham called, is the Lord, the everlasting, the El-Roi. So in this story, we can see there is occurrence of three times the three things. The word swear occurs three times. Swear, I'll swear, I'll swear, I'll swear. So it occurred three times. The word seven occurs three times. The same name, the same time the name Beer-Sheba occur also three times. So the swearing, the seven, and Beer-Sheba is very, very important in this story because there is a swearing, because there was a conflict, and there is a seven. The seven years were given for the ownership of the well, what the Abraham has dug, and the name of the well is Beer-Sheba, which occurred three times. So the main incident of the story is swearing, the seven, the Beer-Sheba. Swearing to remove the conflict. The seven years were given to make that rightfulness of the well what the Abraham did, and the name of the well is Beer-Sheba. So this is what how the conflict was resolved in the life of Abraham. So here we can see the three things are getting the attention: the memory, the naming of the place, and the planting of the tree, the calling out the name of the everlasting God. So after this treaty is over, after this conflict is over, there comes a peace. After the peace acquired, after making the peace covenant, after making the covenant of justice, Abraham did three things. First of all, he named the place. Then second, he planted a tree. Then he called upon the name of the everlasting God. So what is the name of the place? The name of the place was Beer-Sheba because two of them swear there. Why it is called Beer-Sheba? Because two of them, who are the two, Abimelech, the king of Philistine, and Abraham, swear there because there was a conflict. To remove the conflict, they made a swear there, they made a oath there. So Beer-Sheba means the well of seven, the well of oath. Beer-Sheba. Sheba means seven. Sheba also means oath. So Beer-Sheba. Beer means well. Beer means well. Sheba means seven. Sheba also means oath. So this place Abraham called it as a Beer-Sheba, which means the well of seven, the well of oath. Because Sheba means seven, also Sheba means oath. So this is called the naming of Beer-Sheba. So planting of the tree. Why to plant a tree in Beer-Sheba indicate constant supply of water. When you plant the tree, once you plant the tree means you are going to get the constant supply of water. Otherwise, the plant will dry out, isn't it? So Abraham came to know very clearly he is going to be the owner of the well, and from that well he is going to get the water. With the water, he is going to grow the plant. So he planted a tree in the Beer-Sheba and determined to stay in that region. This represents faith and security. He has a faith in God, and also there is a security. That's why he planted a tree, because there is a supply of water there. And then the tree was meant to be lasting landmark. That is going to be landmark. In those days, the trees are landmark. That means God's provision and the center of Abraham's worship. If they see the tree, see how God provided Abraham. He was an alien. He was a sojourner. He was a foreigner. The king was there. Once he dig the well, for the servant, the Abimelech servant came and took it. Now the next time Abraham dig the well, they didn't come and take it. The king was afraid because God with Abraham. The king himself came and make a covenant of peace and covenant of justice. And see, he's staying there for a long time, and the well is full of water. He has planted a tree. It is growing also. God is providing it. And there, Abraham is going to worship God. God will continue to bless with water, and Abraham will continue to call on the name of the Lord. This symbolizes dwelling peacefully in their land. So planting the tree to symbolize what? He's going to dwell peacefully in the land of Philistine. And the Abraham and the tree, not only here, when the tree and Abraham, there is a great connection between the Abraham and the tree. Because, first of all, Abraham came from Ur and he came to Canaan. God only lead towards it. Once he entered the Canaan, the name of the place is Shechem. There he planted a tree. So first thing Abraham did, once he entered the Canaan, the name of the place is he entered is Shechem. There he settled for some time. There he planted a tree. There he stopped near a tree. After that, what happened? Then what happened? There was a great famine. Abraham went to Egypt. Okay, from Egypt he returned and he stayed near. He built a tree by the tree of memory. There was a tree, a tree at the memory place. There he built an altar. So there is also another tree. And then what happened? Abraham lived near the trees only. Always he tried to live near the trees. When he was lived near the trees, the information came that his relative Lot was captured by the king. And then he went and rescued his relative Lot. And not only him, all the people living in Sodom and Gomorrah. And after that, what happened? Again, once he was sitting under the tree, the Lord himself came and encountered with Abraham and promised him that Sarah by the next year is going to give birth a son. You have to name Isaac. And after this, what happened? Again, the Isaac was born. He was like at the age of 4. The Philistine king, came and made a covenant with Abraham, and there he planted a tree in Beer-Sheba. And what happened there? Abraham planted a tamarind tree in the Beer-Sheba, and there he worshipped the Lord, the everlasting God, and lived as a foreigner in the land of Philistine for many days. So there is a great connection between Abraham and the tree. Now, next is what? The calling out the name everlasting God. Now, what he's doing? He's going to call out the name the everlasting God. He's going to worship God, and he's call out the name everlasting God. Everlasting God means what? El-Olam. He's going to call the name of the Lord El-Olam, which means the everlasting God, the eternal God. So far, we have the journey with Abraham. We came to know the 4 names of the Lord so far. First is El-Elyon. El-Elyon means God Most High. Melchizedek, the king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. He was a priest of Most High God. You all know that the Melchizedek, when Abraham went to war against him, 5 kings to rescue his relative Lot, he defeated them and returned victoriously. At that time, there was a king called Melchizedek. He was a king of the Salem. He came and met Abraham, and he was a priest of Most High. The Most High means El-Elyon. Then what happened? Another name is El-Roi. Who got this name El-Roi? Because Hagar was roaming in the wilderness, because Sarah dealt with him very harshly. Hagar was very upset with Sarah, and he came out of the home. He was wandering in the wilderness. At that time, he heard the voice, and the voice said, "What are you doing here? You are pregnant. You are going to give birth a son. You have to name him Ishmael." So she gave this name of the Lord who speak to her. You are the God who sees. So God who sees means El-Roi. So this has happened in the life of Hagar. And then another name, it was revealed, it is El Shaddai. When it was revealed, when Abraham was 99 years old, he didn't have any child. He's still only Ishmael was there, and still he's waiting for the God promise to be fulfilled. At that time, the Lord appeared to him and said, "I am God Almighty. Walk before me faithfully and blameless, and I am going to change your name, Abraham, to the Abraham. And by next year, you are going to have a child and call his name. Sarah is going to give birth a child. You have to call his name Isaac." So this is what the name of the God is I am God Almighty, which means El Shaddai. Now another name is revealed is El-Olam. That means after the birth of Isaac, after the 4 years after the birth of Isaac, once there was a conflict about the well with the king of Philistia, Abimelech. They came and made a treaty, and there was a covenant of peace and covenant of justice. After that, what Abraham did, Abraham planted a tamarind tree in Beer-Sheba, and there he called on the name, the Lord, the eternal God, the Lord, the everlasting God, El-Olam. So far, we came to know the 4 names of the Lord in the life of Abraham. El-Elyon, the God Most High. El-Roi, the Lord who sees me. El Shaddai, I am God Almighty. El-Olam, the Lord, the eternal God, the everlasting God. So, what we learn from this at last application, a conflict over the well, to overcome the conflict, they made a covenant at Beersheba. What we learn from that, we should always agree to the request of the peaceful relationship. Always agree. Always have a, if somebody is asking a peaceful relationship with you, agree to that request. Second, you always try to restore the peace, even if there is going to be some dispute. Even after the request of the peaceful relationship, there's going to be some dispute. Don't separate. Restore the peace by talking with them and coming out of the problem. And then ensure that peaceful relationship continue in the future also. We always have that relationship, continue that peaceful relationship in the future also. Don't break it immediately. And then using this, what you have to do, should serve the Lord, then only the God is going to be with you and bless you. So these are the four things we came to know. Always agree to the request for the peaceful relationship. Restore the peace, even it is there was a dispute. Continue to have the peaceful relationship in future, and with that peaceful relationship, serve the Lord your God and the Lord God Jesus Christ. And the today's memory verse is Hebrew chapter 12, verse 14. Make every effort to live in peace with everyone and to be holy. Without holiness, no one will see the Lord. Thank you, children. Thank you for attending this class. God bless you all.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you. Thank you, Rachel.